Well, why don't you tell everybody what we're gonna do here, Mike?
We are in central Wisconsin on my property, actually. Carl and I are. I bought this property in, I want to say 2018, the late fall of 2018, so I've been doing everything to it for years. Here now we're 2021. Did a lot of improvements starting last January. Did a lot of hinge cutting and bedding areas. We'll show a little bit of that later. To get a little more bedding on the property, we got a big ridge top that we're trying to basically pull our deer where we want them, which is what you want to do in general anyway. Trail systems that I cut in, food plots, but today I had Carl come down and we took a look at everything again, and we'll show all that. We're going to put in a few more mock scrapes, kind of show you what we think works for making deer kind of move where we want them to move. Clean up a few things so they're not using them and coming to our scrapes. One of the plots I put in, I've had a lot of problems with it, with grass overtaking it. We're going to show that. We're going to try to fix that here and hopefully show the progress, how that works here even late in the season. But you know, 7 days a week, 365 days a year if you want to kill big deer. It's the only way it works. So we're everyday guys. We're going to try to show you what we're doing. So we're going to kind of get started doing a couple mock scrapes and some cleanups here.
There's like three that come together here.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, are you running?
Yeah.
So, it's not getting any better than that. We already got a vine hanging right across the center of one of our trails, so we're gonna cut that off. You know, we want to keep that about waist high so that all those deer can walk by and rub those tarsal glands on them. So kind of focus them right here. We've got a stand just off to the side of me. All these trails come together. What you want to do with these two, that I've taught myself a little, Carl's taught me a lot, is you want to kind of have an area where they can move around that scrape. You don't want them to just walk to this and have to hit it, because a lot of times the deer want to move their body all the way around them. And a lot of times, don't think every deer is going to touch that. If they rub that once, they're going to think they don't have to rub that again for a really long time. They're going to come, smell that, and they're going to go around it because they already have their scent on it. So don't be afraid if they don't touch it.
So you guys can hear Mike working up above me here. This particular trail here, there's actually deer movement east-west through here. Actually down below the stand also a little bit. We got all this honeysuckle hanging over these trails, and Mike's noticed that the deer want to rub underneath here too. Well, it's only 15 or 20 yards from where he's putting the vine scrape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all this out and make the deer travel up there to leave their scent. So we control the east-west movement off this hillside, and they move up there where it's easier for us to shoot, for Mike to shoot either way. And every now and then you're going to get a deer come low also, but he'll be able to shoot that direction also. What we're trying to do is make sure we funnel the deer up into that position, because we decided that's where we want to put our added feature, which helps control the movement on the property. So I'm going to start cutting this off, and Mike's up working on that scrape. We'll show you that when he's done. And this is just step one of about 30 or 40 we're going to do today. You guys can see I trimmed this up in here. Now we don't actually have any places where the deer will want to put a scrape underneath. They'll actually head up above to the vine that we're going to show you next, where Mike was working. And that helps us control our deer movement on this hillside. Both trails kind of come together back over here about 20-25 yards. And there's another stand just off the edge of one of the food plots that the deer funnel out onto also. Easy in, easy out. This stand will be great for any west wind, I believe, and probably pretty good for a north wind also. Early morning movement from deer coming off the food. It'll be a good spot, so hopefully Mike will get a shot in here.
We got this vine we cut off that was already hanging here, which was perfect. Vines, I think in my opinion, and Carl's too, are probably some of the best to use. They're just a natural thing. You know, don't go hang a broom handle here. It's not going to work. So anyway, where Carl's got the camera, if you can see, there's actually the trail right here is right around him, and not very wide, you know, maybe an 8 to 10 yards to the big trail that he was standing on, where he cleaned off all that other brush to try to force them to our licking branch, you could call it, or mock scrape, either way. So you can see just cleaned off a small area here, and now before you looked, everything is clear, so a deer can move its whole body around this. And if they want to come up, check it, walk around, they're right back on this trail where this trail wise off again. So it's a real central area that we've had a lot of deer. Right up here behind me is where we did a lot of the bedding improvements. So obviously north wind, late October, early November, buck scent checking. What side are they going to be on? Downwind side, wind's going to be coming over. You know, this could be a great spot early morning, maybe even late afternoons. So hopefully me or Carl will kill something here. So we'll move on to the next spot of 100. So we're up here now. This is now the ridge coming up from where we just put in that mock scrape and cleaned up the main bottom trail. You can see we did a lot of hinge cutting, a lot of ring cutting on some other trees for the future. Really open this canopy up. You can see we have sunlight that actually comes down here now. It's going to grow this up thick. And we noticed coming up the hill that there was 3 more trails now that are spidering down into that main one where we put the mock scrape. And those, 2 of those are new. So obviously they're using this bedding area and starting to travel a little more. I do have a set up in this top, kind of central into this bedding area. Now I know people are going to be like, oh, you can't hunt in the bedding area, but you're going to be here when they're not. That's how you utilize your cameras. You got to use your intel that you can get. You know, they're not going to be bedding here every minute of the day. They're either going to bed here, you know, coming back in the morning from feed, or going back, you know, in the afternoon, one or the other. So you got to kind of figure out which time of the day they're going to use that bedding. You know, they may bed here coming back in the morning, they may bed somewhere else at night. So that's kind of what you got to figure out. You can't just come tromping in and think, well, they're not bedding here today. So, but it's a real great spot. Again, where you're at is going to be downwind side. Stand is on this edge. Buck's going to come down this ridge. Scent check. You know, hopefully you get a shot at one. Those obviously are what you want in your bedding area. Okay, so we're now, we're probably 200 yards west of where we just showed you, where we put that other mock scrape. We're on top of my ridge. This is a trail system that I cut in 3 years ago. There's a mock scrape behind Carl, a stand behind him, a water hole that I put in this year, and then this is another bedding area. And this is kind of a saddle that we made in between this bedding area and the bedding area where we kind of just showed you. So what we're going to do is all this crap here all the way down, you can see how this is over this trail. Well, we want them to come down and use this if they're going to scrape. You know, we don't want them making 10 scrapes down here and then wandering away to wherever they want to go. We're trying to get them, our whole theme here, if you can tell, is we want to make the deer go where we want them to go. And I know it sounds stupid, but you can make them go where they want to go. They are a lazy animal. Trust me, they're going to take an easier path. So we're going to remove all of this stuff. We don't want them scraping on here. We want them scraping behind Carl on the mock we put on, which is where our stand is, which is where our water hole is, which is right off of another bedding area. So we're going to go ahead and clean all this up, and then we're going to travel down to the next area. So we're down 125 yards or so from where we showed we just cleaned that big trail up to the water hole, other mock scrape, bedding area. Now this is part of that top saddle where we got here. I have another water hole right back here to the left hand side of the back of the four-wheeler, and then right here is where we're thinking about popping a stand up. So we got the big main trail, shoot the water hole. We're going to actually bring these trees together up top. We're going to actually tie them together, and we're going to hang ourselves another one right here and put another mock scrape in. So again, trying to bring the deer to us. So here we are. This is that same top trail where we were telling we had our other water hole here, which is straight off to my right. We cleaned that area out now, so it's real easy to get to that water hole. Right here's our main trail that Carl's filming from. Obviously you see hanging directly in front of him, where we just pulled two trees together to kind of canopy. Call it the circle of death there. And then we got another mock scrape hung right there. Just popped this setup right here. Got a nice trail following back both ways. We pretty much got shots all out in front of us here at probably 180 degrees, which is, I mean, you're not going to get a lot more than that. You got to have some backed up, you got to have some cover. So this spot again too, top of the ridge, wind direction shouldn't affect us as much. Should be able to hunt this north, northwest, northeast. Again, it's going to depend where they're bedding, because we've got bedding out here in front of me, and then we have bedding back here a ways behind me. So it's kind of another one of those little saddle areas that we have. Carl's got a lot of saddle areas like that on his property. Got a ton of success killing big bucks out of those. It's just a natural corridor, and we're just making it easier for them to get there. We're going to go ahead and pop camera up on these. I've got these Spartan Go cameras that come right to my phone, so they're pretty nice. We get in here, hang this stuff, and we gone. We don't come back in. So nice thing, I bring my phone, make sure it connects. Good. So now here we're down off of my ridge now in the bottom. I got my pond back here. We popped the stand up. Actually here I put it up a couple of weeks ago. Back behind that stand there's about, it's probably a solid 4 to 5 acre area of bedding that we never go into. I did a lot more hinge cutting and tree dropping. You can see how that canopy is open. There's actually sunlight in there now. Super thick there. We have my big food plot is off to the north of that, down in the bottom there. So we got a stand here. We got a trail coming off the bottom of this ridge, north side of the bedding, which is where bucks are always going to scent check late with a predominant northwest breeze. So we got that stand, we can pick up the pond, this trail. We're going to put one more mock scrape here. We have 2 trees already coming together, so it should make it a lot easier. So, and then we'll pop a camera up on it.
Yep. Hey. Let's try that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not going to go nowhere.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, right in there should be very good. You don't like that, you can just get the hell up out of here now.
You ain't got to go. You got to get the fuck up out of here.
That's right.
T-R-O-U-B-L-E, bad news. That's what that is right there. So there we got that one hung. Again, be around that waist level. Even your fawns will come and they'll hit that. All your deer will hit those. Nice big main trail. Nice easy walk for them. We'll pop a camera up. Probably straight back here. See what we get. It's July. So here we are. We talked about this. This is my bottom big kill plot that I cut in here 3 years ago. It's about an acre total. I left the bottom half of it to grow solid. I get them to bed there a little. The big bedding area now is back behind the camera where Carl is. This plot I planted already this year, but as you can see, it's been taken over by milkweed, quack grass, and it's choking it all out. So what we're going to do, like actually where Carl is, we're going to leave this very top portion because that's actually coming in nice. We're going to come in here on Wednesday, we're going to spray this whole back half off and just kill the hell out of it. Hopefully with the direct sun all day we can get it out of here. We're going to replant again. I know it's late, it's middle of July, but we will get this to come up. So hopefully this will be a good thing to show the progress that we're going to make here, because this right now is junk. It's choking everything out that I planted, and I've had this problem for a few years. So Carl's really good on his seeds and food plots. We think it'll probably take us 2, maybe 3 years to get this all choked out of here, and then you can plant anything in here. So we're going to show you what it starts out to be right now. So here's one of the last plots we're going to show you. This is a little plot I put in. I started this one 3 years ago, also a little campsite plot I called it, because they had this as a little campsite when I bought it. We cleared this off. I took down a bunch of trees right over here because we weren't getting any sun in there. So we do get a lot of sun here, which is good. It needed it. It was choking some of it off, but it's also making it a little hard for some of it to grow. This one is coming up. Obviously, we've been here in Wisconsin. We're 10 plus inches below normal water, so that's not helping it. But what we're going to do, we're going to leave this one alone because it's coming up, but we're going to overseed it. So we're going to come back just before we got rain coming in. We're going to seed this back over top again and let it get washed down in, and we're hoping that this one should come in real nice yet. Stand straight up behind me here in this tree. You can barely see it there right now because there's branches covered in right in that Y, but main trail connects here, main trail to my left, big trail out of the bedding to my right. So directly behind Carl is our cornfield. So real good area again, top of the ridge.
You mean to tell me you're using a ridge as structure?
I am.
And then putting food plots on it?
I know, it's crazy talk. What I like to do is I just find a tree in the woods, and I figure it's a woods, must be deer there. And I just sit there and figure, they're gonna come.
That's why you shoot the big buck.
Look, here doesn't come one now. The whole property there, pretty much. We got to run back out, pop another couple cameras up, throw some cards in. Obviously, we'll show you as we spray off that other plot, replant, and how that's going to progress from there on out. And then, hopefully, as we get into the good time of year, we can put something on the ground, and all of our hard work pays off. But you know, smaller tracts of land can be just as productive as anything else. You know, you got to hunt what you got, so make it work for you.